is going to be a blast. We got one of the biggest names in health, one of the most fun people I've ever met, and we're going to talk real cool stuff. It's like what I've been hammering on about LinkedIn, about healthcare marketing. It's not that sophisticated. It's just not easy to do at scale, but we're going to talk through that with Chelsea of how to roll out acquisition and what matters in tracking and all that fun stuff. She's in New Orleans. Don't hold the Saints fan thing against her. She's still reeling from it, and they're going to have a terrible year. So she's already down. Don't kick her more. Chelsea, welcome to Ignite.
Thank you so much for having me. Pumped to be here.
I'm pumped about your football team, but at least you're in a safe place for the next 15 minutes. Yeah, tell them where you work. What do you do there?
Sure. So I lead marketing platforms at Sutter Health, which is one of the largest health systems in California and honestly in the country. We're serving about 3 million patients, trying to get people care when and where they need it.
I love it. And your job there is what?
Mostly focused in the marketing operations world. So really focused in the space of connecting all the dots in marketing technology, bringing our platforms to life, getting patients the right messages at the right time.
I love it. And that's not easy to do, right? The journey is complicated. Yeah. And so how do you track? How do you get to them in the right way, in a compliant way, all that fun stuff? Talk us through some of your favorite solutions. How do you get to mama at the right time when she's making a decision for her family in a not creepy and a very compliant way? How are we doing? What's your favorite tech stuff, system stuff?
The not creepy. So your girl is very deep in the world of Salesforce Marketing Cloud, run deep with that tool, and it's a favorite solution of mine for sure. Sutter's actually working towards, growing our future with Salesforce as well. Currently working in some smaller marketing automation platforms that have been great partners to us as well. Honestly, love a good dashboard. Tableau is making the world go round over here. Everything we're doing is EMR integrated. And I think that's the secret to our success is really that timeliness and relevance of getting that personalized message to people. So to do that at scale, you got to have the fancy tools that make it happen.
Let's talk about them because not a lot of people, I went to Dreamforce and half of the people that sat around the table were like, it's shelfware. We couldn't figure out how to get it rolled out. And I think you might be in the 1% that's actually integrated it with EMR. So are you telling me that Cindy came in for, I don't want to say mammogram, too serious, for an ACL tear, got a consult at the MRI, ended up getting surgery, and then actually became a patient value of that? Is that all tied to the to the advertising stuff?
So today, Sutter is working with a partner called Cured to make that happen for our marketing automation system. And it is fully integrated into our EMR. So we're triggering communications based on the different needs that we see that people have in a very non-creepy way to make sure that messaging and people sharing their data with us is safe and secure and being, not used just to market to them endlessly.
I love that. What was the tech platform you just mentioned? Is that CDP?
Cured.
Is Cured a CDP?
No, Cured is a marketing automation platform that does different, email triggering. It's very focused for, I think it's sort of a startup in the healthcare targeting space. Very focused on just getting things out the door for teams trying to make it happen.
Everybody wants to know the new latest thing to try to get an edge. Doesn't Marketing Cloud have a lot of automation? How is it different from what you could have done with Journey Builder? I think
it definitely does. So my background is all Marketing Cloud, but at Sutter, we're currently using Cured to make it happen. So I'm very well versed in the differences. Cured is perfect for a team that doesn't have a ton of tech resources and really just needs to get something up and moving. And they make it simple to do that. They've got some prepackaged journeys that can happen. They help you tie all of your data together to sort of do, a journey type science. They're still in the process of rolling out a lot of new features like dynamic content or multi-phase journeys. So they're, up and coming in the space for sure. When it comes to Marketing Cloud, it's sort of like, I always say, like an Android phone. Like you can make it do anything, but it's not that perfect iPhone out the box that's going to walk you through how to do it all. You've got to know how to customize it. You've got to have an implementation partner on your side to do it. So it really just depends on like what type of shop you are and what sort of thing you can undertake when it comes to an implementation.
Yeah, let's talk through that. And Cured, by the way, that sounds cool. I'm going to go check them out. We'll get them on the podcast. That sounds interesting. And so let's talk a little bit about the Salesforce stuff. Everyone has grand aspirations. We need a CRM. We need to know where Cindy came from. Let's do something and then remarket and have journeys and all this fun stuff. But they don't all have a Chelsea on staff, right? And can't afford the implementation part. Are those the restrictions? You need a Chelsea. You need someone that has the time and dedication, not one marketing director in-house. And now you've just added this to play. Tell us what you need to make a CRM implementation successful.
Yeah, you have to be ready to know what you're taking on. If you've got tools and partners within your IS team that are going to help you with your connections and tying all those data points together, and you've got room to bring in a Chelsea to focus on this fully, then you can be in a good space to do this. But look, today, Marketing Cloud for a lot of people still means learning SQL and learning how to write queries of who's getting what with SQL. And that's a reality.
Wow.
I mean, they're working on this, and there's a lot of new cool features coming out with their Data Cloud platform where this is like going to be a thing of the past in the future. But like, it's tough stuff. It does really cool things, but you've got to be in the weeds knowing how to do it to make it do those things.
And Salesforce talks so much about their AI agents and stuff. And bro, if Chelsea's still using SQL, you're fully Benioff.
They would look, if my account AE was on the call, he would be like, girl, get Data Cloud and it's a thing in the past and you don't have to do all that.
For another $150K a month, we can solve it for you.
Right. I mean, they've got solutions, and like, you know, the AI frontier, ChatGPT can write your queries. The whole world is your oyster now with all of this. But I mean, like, it's not for everybody. Like, if you are a smaller system that like doesn't have the ability to invest in these massive tools and this massive implementation, don't do it. Like, don't start.
Don't do it. HubSpot's now HIPAA compliant.
Great.
Can do a lot of that stuff. I think I'm impartial. I don't get kickbacks from anybody. So like, I think the smaller situation, maybe that's a maybe starting point. I think Salesforce is off the chain. We have Salesforce. We use the crap out of it. Can't integrate with everything. We love when clients have it. Right. If they have the right internal research. All right, enough about Salesforce. You love tech. What's your favorite? What would you drop?
So I think for us today, when we look at the stack, like if it's helping personalization at scale, or if it's helping get the right message to the right person at the right time, it's got to stay, right? If we sat through a sales pitch and we thought it was going to do this and it ended up being another dashboard on the shelf or another thing that we're having to add all these manual workarounds to make it happen, it's got to go. So I think for us, it comes to the core of like, does this make our foundational lives tick? And that's the stuff that we've got to have. So for us today, that looks like Cured, and it looks like we're in the process of bringing in Unlock, which is our HRA partner, and working through, you know, bringing in leads that matter to people, that timeliness and relevance, the partners that focus on that, that's the ones we love.
Good. Hey, Unlock, another agency, right? Unlock agency?
Yeah, they do a ton of agency work as well to promote. They have just a ton of cool health risk assessment tech that we love.
Shout out to them as well. I love it. And what would you drop? Obviously not unimportant.
Yeah, they can't go. I mean, you know, we've got big marketing automation dreams. Cured is a fantastic partner to us. I think we'll grow eventually with that. Nobody's on my like gotta burn. Right now.
And also that would be weird because then we would have just told them that this is not working out. So that's a dumb question. We'll put it in the show notes.
I think that we've got a lot of people like who try to come to us to sell solutions, things that we know like what it would take behind the scenes to make that stuff happen. And the sales pitch sounds really nice and really great, but I think we've got to get real about what it takes to do these things at scale.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not easy, and we just got to do some simple stuff, but even simple at scale is very hard. And I know we talk a lot about journeys, but you are passionate about that because you talk to a lot of people, and that there is a big drop off when they go visit. Tell them, what do you hear on the streets? What is a patient insight that's kind of changed how you think about our jobs?
Totally. I mean, when you work in healthcare marketing, you become like everyone's therapist for how their experience with their doctor is going.
We're in healthcare. That's what I tell you. I'm in healthcare.
Yeah, by proxy. By proxy, you start hearing a lot of stuff. Can't get through a dinner party without, hey, by the way, this like happened to me at the doctor. I think the dots that I started to put together in my career were that, okay, patients do not know the difference in marketing and their like care that's happening. To them, it's all one and the same experience. So you'll start hearing stories about like, hey, I got this message from my doctor and they were asking me to do this thing and I tried to do it on the portal and it didn't work. And I hear this and I understand like, okay, they didn't have a visit type set up for that, or the integration behind the scenes wasn't firing in the right way, or you got this at the wrong time because that journey logic did not do what they thought it was going to do. Patients don't see any of that. And so when there's breakdowns in what's happening in that experience, it's not just a failure of like the branding was bad or, you know, this wasn't a great marketing experience. It becomes like, this is a failure of the health system not providing care in the best way. So to me, that became like what we do really matters at the end of the day to help patients experience their care.
Yeah, it comes back when we screw up as marketers and there's a disconnect, it becomes about a patient experience and they hold the whole thing. I tore my ACL playing basketball. I went and got an MRI somewhere. One of the health systems won't name them. It showed that it was in fact torn. Radiologists, everybody called, in fact, torn. Not one email, not one call, not one text after to schedule me with an ortho to get the surgery. So I ended up going to another health system. Breakdown, boom, you just lost $50K. And that's probably the least bad scenario when the messaging is incorrect or inauthentic. Yeah, that's such a bad look.
Totally.
Looking forward, so we're in the latter half of 25. That's crazy.
Wild.
Everybody's talking about AI. Is that what you're most focused on? What are you thinking about for the rest of the year?
Oh my gosh. You know how you go on your own LinkedIn tirades about things? Mine as well about the AI space, AI this, AI that. I think healthcare marketing needs to get real. It's definitely reality check time in our space. This tech is coming. It'll change things. It'll transform, what do our jobs look like in 20 years? Who knows? But I think the big focus right now is getting your house in order, because none of that works if your foundation isn't clean.
What's the foundation in your opinion?
It's all of your data. If your data is not, pump garbage in, you're just going to get faster garbage with AI kind of thing. It is a multiplier is what it's doing. So if right now your tracking's not working and you're not coding things correctly and your data doesn't work at scale, put AI in the mix and it's just faster and worse type deal. So I think for us, it's all about, fully understanding how the baseline works. I think we're also talking about how the divide between traditional marketing and Martech, it's growing exponentially deeper. And so gone are the days where you can be a marketer that doesn't understand how tracking is working or how UTM codes play into what you're doing, or needing to see the visibility on a downstream lead and how valuable that is. I mean, the abyss there is growing, and the marketers who can't get in that boat are going to get left behind.
Thank you for the reality check. Today on LinkedIn, I said, someone was talking about AI. I said, dude, stop. It's a force multiplier. It doesn't actually do anything yet. I'm seeing so many gaps in the basics. Healthcare marketers, what's up? It's Alex from the future. Guess what? Scaling Up, the Healthcare Performance Marketing Summit is back. Scaling Up is focused entirely on driving patient acquisition to your group. So you're talking the largest provider groups, health system leaders, everything it takes to drive a patient to your practice or health system, from media, BI, analytics, performance creative, SEO, AI, because we've got to have that acronym in there. October 28th and 29th, thousands of healthcare marketers are going to be showing up to this. It's virtual and it is free. That's the best part. Last 2 years, we were charging for it. This year, I want every healthcare marketer to come. We need to connect more patients with care. We all do. We all need to do it together. I'll see you there. Scaling Up. Let's first start with what you said, tagging, tracking, those things, and then we'll talk about how you learn those. How do people that isn't their only job learning? But first I want to start big health system, put it in context of the big health system. But I also think about provider groups that don't have all of the complicated. What is most important tag, track, measure in your opinion?
Yeah. I mean, I think if you're running a campaign and you are just looking at, we saw a lift in scheduling for whatever service we were providing, go back to the drawing board. Figure out how to make your tracking real. That is number one pet peeve for me. Is there are so many basic things you can put into play to be able to see, we did this thing and these people took this action we asked them to take, and here's the actual dollar amount that we've seen from that. It's going to make your strategies super powered, because then you can actually start to see what's taking hold and what's making a real difference.
Yeah. Overall lift, not good enough. We got more appointments. We got more procedures. Not good enough. We have to be able to measure. Do you think is it possible to get down to return on advertising? Is it good enough to know booked appointments, you think, by service line? Or, most provider groups are one service line.
It's a great start. It is an incredible start to have that. If you don't have that, you're flying blind, right? So if you're going to go anywhere, focus there. The ROI science of healthcare marketing is really tricky, because I think when you work in a large system that when I drive an orthopedic clinic appointment, there might be actual dollars lost from clinic appointments there, because the real power of that service line is the lifetime value. So we may lose money on that initial visit of someone going to an ambulatory space because the overhead is so high on making that happen. But the service line as itself, as a whole, is profitable, but that is based on getting people in through that funnel and then having them do these bigger surgeries or having them, need these higher levels of care. But you've got to get people in the door to do that. So finding a math that explains all that and makes all that work at a glance, really tough stuff. So I think if you can just show the appointment growth, that is a great place to begin.
Man, Chelsea, you're one of the top 5 best people we've ever had on this podcast. Don't tell the other 110, but this is awesome. It's what we preach every day, and I rarely hear it. It is finding the math that works. It is hard finding a math that works, that gets down to the whole thing. We'd love to have you on our side every day trying to explain to leads and clients that sometimes you just got to get them in the door. You might lose on that first appointment. Now I'm going back in for more knee surgeries because you get arthritis. And so just getting me in for that damn loss on the MRI would have been worth how much? Over 40 years here in Atlanta, right? So I love what you're saying. When we talk about just getting to booked appointments, is that possible for health? What do you, it's online scheduled, email form and call. Is that good enough?
That's like the bread and butter of it. There are a lot more sophisticated things that you can put into place, but there's so many different privacy concerns that come into play for health systems trying to like track all the way through. So you got to work hand in hand with your legal and privacy teams and make your BFFs there to make the world go round in that space. But just like using the information that people give you is a great foundation for it.
Okay. I love that. BFS with legal and privacy. I assume ops too, because you have to know where to drive capacity. Chelsea has a lot of BFFs.
Totally.
I'm sure there. I want to go back. And you mentioned AI, very important as force multiplier. It helps analyze. What I've realized is like helps with analyzing, creating variations with design and copy and all that stuff. It's all based on inputs. And if you feed it poorly measured and tracked things, you're just going to get more garbage. Let's get back to how do you become great at the measurement and tracking and all that stuff? For those that have a big time job, how did you get great at it? Is just by doing? Is there anything out there that they can be learning, watching?
It comes from the roots, right? I think the core of it is like, get curious about how it works. If there's somebody in your crew that's in charge of that like downstream revenue or that downstream tracking, and you're just trusting like the vendor black box said that it's worth this much money, how'd they do that? Where did that come from? Where does that math live? And I think once you get into that mindset of how do we know this stuff and what's possible to know, it really transforms it. It's more of this, how do I see these different pieces coming together? How do I connect the dots type thing here? So, I mean, like get curious about how it works, I think is my first piece of advice. But there's also so many experts in this space on this, like connecting in healthcare is huge. The network and building, meet other health systems who are doing this, who are not your direct competitors in this space. Like I've met so many different health systems who have learned from and seen like, how are you guys doing this? What are you doing to make this happen? And people are open. It's a great community and just lean on that.
Are you going to the big conferences, ACIC, Shishman, all that stuff, or do you just hit them up on LinkedIn?
I've definitely run the conference circuit for sure. But that's a great foundation. But also LinkedIn is great too. Like find the people who are talking about it, find the you somewhere else in the health system that you admire and reach out.
It is really that simple. I was trying to get to the answer. I tell people like, you don't have to ask. You don't have to just sit there and wonder all day. Just go on LinkedIn and send a connection request. Hey, I'm looking for help. In healthcare marketing, you know the thing I think we all love about this? Everybody's mission driven, really wants to make the world a better place by connecting patients with care, and really wants, because we all believe in that, they will help you when you say, I'm trying to get better at this thing. And I think Chelsea also mentioned something that's important. She's talking about making BFFs with a finance team. But if there are tech wizards and IT in there and all that stuff, and you're trying to figure out how to connect the website to the actual end product, CRM, EMR, just go sit with them and talk to them. Lots of AI courses. And I think people are getting really distracted with all of that before figuring out how to just cover the basics. Because Chelsea, C-suite is now coming to all of us and saying, what the hell did you drive for the money I gave you? Times are tougher. And we just need to get back to that. Stop talking about this AI fancy stuff. Usain Bolt speed, like you mentioned to me earlier.
Yes,
you can't crawl, bro. Why are you talking about sprinting?
Yes, totally. I mean, we've all got the Usain Bolt level dreams, but it's all about locking it into you got to crawl first.
You got to crawl, and that's understanding what you're driving for the amount. And then the fun part of that, actually, this will probably be my final question part. The fun part of that is when you have the basics, you can also then forecast out where to spend the next best dollar because you know what's kind of working. And that's what C-suite also wants to know. That's cool that you drove X for Y. Now, if I gave you W, what happens? And can you grow and that'll help you grow your team. Okay, that's fun. Are you guys doing anything cool with modeling, forecasting, any of that kind of fun stuff in media?
Yeah, I mean, we are in the depths of the making the math happen and figuring out sort of what numbers make the most sense for us to tell the story about what we're doing. But I think it's also like bringing our team to the table of what problems is the health system trying to solve. I think people still really don't understand the marketing automation space and what the power of the tech we have is. So when we get to the table in those conversations, it's like, oh, if you would have told me you're trying to solve for this, we could have sent a message at this point that it would have intersected the journey here and really could have made a huge difference in automating rather than, y'all calling 1 million people to make this happen or whatever other strategy they're putting in place.
You're telling me that the gold is already in your first party data. Guys, you don't have to go, you don't maybe need more and more advertising. You just need to make sure people are following their plan of care and referring their friends and all that kind of fun stuff, right? And so that's what Chelsea's trying to tell us. Let's make sure you're nurturing people with the right message, not an annoying or an inappropriate one. So Chelsea, that's good. Any final word? What's the campaign you're most proud of in 60 seconds? Is there one thing that strikes you over the last year that you want to impart on people?
I think it's like a big amalgamation of what we've made happen. When I showed up at Sutter, I went from driving a marketing automation Ferrari to driving more of like a Toyota Camry type deal. And I think it's a testament of like, look, the tech still does the basic things I need it to do. And at the end of the day, the only God we serve is timeliness and relevance, right? Like that's going to drive things for our patients. If we can get them that right message at the right time in the right channel type deal, you can move the needle. Even if you're not out here journey splitting to the gods and changing all of this crazy dynamic content and all of these shiny things in our space, you can still do big things by just focusing on making sure the messages that people are getting are timely and relevant to them.
I mean, you gave us the headline of the century right there. The only gift we serve is timeliness and relevance. Guys, you heard it here. I love this 15, 20 minutes, longer than Chelsea would have liked, but I really enjoyed it because it got us back to foundation with so much frou-frou trend shit and Reddit this and that and like AI. It's too much right now. Guys, I'm seeing so many basic things not being done and Chelsea's bringing us back to it, which I love. You know, the interesting thing about Reddit, I'll give it credit, is why people are so into it is because it's humans. It's humans talking to humans. And I think it's showing that the AI robot thing is maybe not the future we all are ready. Probably going there anyways.
Totally.
But
I'm a Google Reddit searcher as well. And I think it's like you find these little niche things that the AI is having trouble surfacing for you. And like, oh, somebody had the experience that I had. God, let me figure it out.
There's some really cool stuff. And they're getting their doctors on there for AMAs. And I think it's cool. And we're hearing from actual providers, actual patients. It's like the last bastion of actual humans on the internet. Chelsea, thank you for this. This was awesome. One of the most fun times, educational times I've ever had on Ignite. Thank you.
Oh, of course. Glad to be here.